Rev up your engines!
Well, Nissan's really in rough shape. Believe it or not, their dealer profits have dropped 70% year over year. And in the last quarter of 2024 so far, the automaker's profitability dropped 99%. Yes, 99%. Nissan's kind of screwed on both sides. The biggest markets in the world are now China and the United States, right? So Americans, hey, they know the quality of Nissan isn't that greatest. They're kind of wising up, not buying the things, right? They don't have a bunch of hybrids and everybody wants to buy hybrids, right? Well, China, they've been losing sales in China forever because, of course, the Chinese make their own cars. And if you don't know, China's now the largest car market in the world. They buy more cars than anybody. And they're not buying Nissans. And Nissan shut down some of their factories in China. So it's no surprise that Nissan is losing money. They tried the association with Peugeot and Mitsubishi, and that didn't work out all that well. They kind of split apart. One owned part of the other. Then they sold the stock because they said, ugh. Nissan's been in trouble forever. I mean, if you remember decades ago, Ford Motor Company was thinking about buying Nissan, but then the Ford stock went down the toilet and they didn't have any money to buy anything. Shows it was a smart move. They didn't buy it anyways because Nissan is in deep doo-doo. There's no arguing that. They have all those horrible Nissan CVT transmissions that break down. Hey, you keep making crap, you don't keep up with the times, guess what? Eventually people wise up and they don't buy your products. You imagine 99% down of their profitability for the company in the last quarter. That is a big drop. Here we go again. Tesla started a house fire in South Houston, burnt the house down, and it was just sitting there. It wasn't being charged. It just burnt the house down. Fire alarm went out. They ran out of the house. They were safe. These things just burn down garages, houses. There was also a Florida home that burnt down after Tesla caught fire because of the flooding from a hurricane, right? Here's what a lot of people don't understand. Salt water conducts electricity a lot better than fresh water. So if you got electric battery, it's on the bottom of the car. You don't have to go the whole way to the top, just the bottom of the car. The battery's on the bottom of a Tesla because it weighs so much. It would handle like nuts. If the battery was higher, it'd be top heavy. So they put them in the bottom. So if it's in water, the water will get in the battery and woof. Check out the Florida one. Even have videos on that. The guy had video at his house, and even though it burned everything down, camera footage was saved, and it showed through, starts out dark, black and white, and then the flames start and it goes into color. It's bad enough. Oh man, my car was destroyed. I had to get another car. Well, not only is your car destroyed, so is your house in this case. So maybe not such a smart idea, these battery electric cars. Engineers warn me about the energy that's inside these things, and I think they're right. There's some really ugly pickup trucks that have been made throughout history. Now, here's some of the ugliest. 1500 Ram Charger. Look at that grill. How big do you need a grill? The thing is gigantic, right? Do they really need a grill like that? They got like grill mad. But if you think that's bad, check out an old Dodge D100 swept side. Is that one of the ugliest trucks you've ever seen? And of course, there's the Hummer H3. As if the other Hummers weren't bad enough. The H3 was their dog. They were making those in Shreveport, Louisiana. And then GM goes bankrupt, and we taxpayers had to bail them out. And one of the deals of the bailout was, you're not making any more Hummers. Now, last I read, it turns out that GM probably lost $100,000 for every Hummer that they made. So maybe it's a good idea they don't make the regular versions. Now they got their big electric giant one, but they hardly sell any of those. For example, in 2023, GMC sold a whopping 3,260 Hummers. No surprise that the cheapest version they have starts at $97,000, and it's an electric vehicle that most people don't want. It's not surprising. Another ugly truck was the Honda Generation 2 Ridgeline. Check it out. It looks like somebody took the front of a Honda Accord and stuck a box on the back of it. And of course, then there's the Subaru Brat. Check it out. I mean, what more can you say? They were bizarre trucks. They wanted to sell them in the United States, and they wanted to bypass the tax they were putting on small import trucks. So they bolted a couple of fiberglass seats in the bed, right? So think about today. If you put somebody in the back of a bed, they'd probably put you in jail. They wouldn't even allow you to sell a vehicle like that for safety reasons. But they did back then. In the 1978 Brat. Look at it. Check it out. Another really ugly pickup truck with the Studebaker Champ. Check that out. It looks like somebody took a Lark and then just stuck a bed on the bed. Top off bizarro stuff, check out the Fiat Toro. It looks like a Fiat 500. They stuck a tiny little bed on the back. And of course, there's the all-time ugliest truck, the obvious winner, which is the Tesla Cybertruck, which really looks like one of those aluminum garbage cans you stick in your kitchen, you know? Open lid. Throw the garbage in, close lid. Well, here's some trivia you might not know. U.S. military drone missiles were once powered by Harley-Davidson engines, yes. Hopefully they were more dependable and made less noise than the Harley-Davidson engines that they put in motorcycles. They were completely different engines, of course. They used them in a Jayhawk drone, AGM-37. They send the drones up and they use them for target practice, right? And they used them all the way up to 2022. Kind of interesting. I didn't even know this one. Harley-Davidson's helped power these drones that they're flying around. They use for target practice. So now you know Harley-Davidson even made missile engines for target practice. I guess they decided they couldn't use Harley-Davidsons for target practice. They were too slow. Well, here's some craziness. I can't wait to see what happens. In Albany, New York, they have a pilot program now with electric scooters that people can rent. $2 to unlock and 25 cents a minute to ride. 25 cents a minute, that's a ripoff. It's called CDTA Scoot. So, they're going to let people rent these scooters. You stand up, you hold that, you got two wheels. Let me tell you something. They better have some really darn good insurance because those are the most dangerous things on earth. He's standing up on a scooter going on two tiny little wheels. Let me tell you something. If you know anything about two wheels, if you're riding two wheels, you want relatively large wheels. You have better control, and you also want wider tires. I'll give you a perfect example. I've got a lot of these wide mountain bike type setups with those big fat tires on it, right? They handle quite well. I can drive them through fields and ruts and they don't fall over. Try that with skinny tires to fall over. Try that with skinny small tires like these scooters have, and it's a recipe for disaster. They're going to have people with broken arms, legs, heads. They're going to be sued up the wazoo, bringing electric scooters for mobility. Bicycles, a lot of these cities have given up with their bicycle programs because they found out the bicycles were wrecked. Now, their deal here is they're only going to rent to 18 or above with driver's licenses too. So, I mean, okay, so you got a driver's license. Does that mean you know how to drive a scooter? Of course not. And heaven forbid, old people get out and they'll be breaking arms and legs and suing the city of Albany over, oh, I got injured on your scooter. It sounds like a really stupid idea. Let's see what happens with this. It's a pilot program, so let's see, maybe the pilots go crashing down to earth and they'll give up with it after a while. No Fear says, I got a 97 Toyota Avalon with a PO301 code. I changed the coils. It still stayed on number 1, but I did do a compression test. And all cylinders are 165 except cylinder 4, which is 105, even though the miss is on cylinder 1. Help. Okay, well, your main problem, as far as I can see, do you really have only 105 compression in cylinder 4 and then the rest are 165, which is a little low, but it's still fine for an old vehicle, right? It's a 97, it's an old vehicle. Here's the thing. Once you have really low compression in one cylinder, that can affect how the whole engine runs, and it can make cylinder number 1 cause a misfire because cylinder number 1 is the main cylinder that the computer uses to measure for problems on an old vehicle like that. It's mainly because it's a 97. If it would have been like a 2017, it would give you the exact one that had a problem. It would probably flag number 4. But yours is old, it's got older software. So your whole problem is, if that 105 cylinder reading is correct, your engine's just wearing out. Now, do a test, 2 or 3 tests. Make sure it's always low. And if it is, that cylinder's worn out. Add oil if it burns it. Change it regularly and live with it as long as it runs, because 97 and you got a big old V6 engine, it would cost a fortune to rebuild that engine. It's really not worth doing. But the reason you get number 1 is because it's old and the software isn't as good as the new ones. You do have a misfire, but odds are it's coming out of number 4 if the pressure's that low, but it doesn't know how to read it correctly, so it flags 1. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.